So this is a video for anyone who wants to get better at Golf Rival. Admittedly, the front portion of this is for noobs, but really anybody who's tired of getting their ass handed to them could probably get something out of this video. I want to show you a few of the things I've learned over the last couple years about windage and shot lineups and overcoming debuffs, even how to use a reticle, and really how to maximize the game interface to, so you can compete with, little to no money. So yeah, let's light this candle. First things first, it's imperative that you understand windage. If you cannot get this concept, you may as well not play the game. This white graph is most often used at the tee off. This yellow one is often used after the fact, but it can go back and forth between the white and the yellow, to be honest. And the green one is for your close chip shots. If you do not pay attention to these color changes, you will never sink a chip shot and you will never be successful at this game. So let's look at how a windage graph works. Here we have a white windage graph used to target the hole. Remember this guy? They are one and the same. Now this point here is where your ball would land if there was no wind, but there's always wind. How much wind is there? There's this much wind. And all of it is moving obviously in this direction, which means if the wind's going 4.8, then the ball's going to land right here, which is not where we want it. So we move our windage chart accordingly so the ball hits where it would have hit if there was no wind. And no, I don't always hit shots like that. Just most of the time. Kidding. So let's talk about your balls for a second. These two balls. I see this far too often. Players using this ball to get further distance, and it works when the wind is set up like this, moving directly away from your position. The problem, of course, is that this dandelion ball is going to increase the wind no matter what direction it's going. So if you use it when the wind is facing, I don't know, the opposite direction, it's not going to help you. So here's exactly what I'm talking about regarding misuse of the dandelion ball. Instead of this ball, he should have used this ball. Got it? All right. Let's talk about setting up your shot real quick. If your target's on the hole like this one here, do not move it until you've got a nice clean yellow line. Once you've established that line, you can adjust your windage accordingly. For this particular shot, the wind force is 3.2 and it's adjusted correctly. You'll notice here that there's this little dot here. This is a reticle. We're going to get into that, but for this shot it has no use or purpose. The thing about the reticle, or crosshairs if you're so inclined, is that it's not a part of Golf Rival. It's an app that I'm going to show you. You see, mastering windage is everything in this game, and Golf Rival has ruled that use of a reticle app is allowed and completely fair. So Crosshair Hero is an app you get on Google Play or whatever it is you get apps. As far as I'm aware, it's still free and the best one available, IMHO. After you download it and authorize the necessary permissions, you will be brought to this screen where you can customize your reticle. Once you hit your start button, you'll see your little dot appear and it will hover over any app that it's been given permission to hover over, such as Golf Rival. You can customize the color of your reticle. I like this one, you do you. For sake of time, I'm not going to get into all this. You can change the size, you can even make it have crosshairs. There's several reticles to choose from, yada yada yada. You'll figure it out. It's simple, and let's get on with it, So, using a reticle, here it is, and set up your shot like you always do. You always set up your shot first, don't worry about where the reticle is. So once you get it all set up, you realize that you've got 6.5 on wind force and a yellow wind chart, not white. Now put your reticle right on 0, simply by moving the screen, not the wind chart. Once you got your reticle into the correct position of 6.5 in this case, you can pull the trigger. Well, swing, whatever. Unfortunately for this shot, we missed. Why? I'll show you. This is 6.5. This is 6.6 or 7. It's imperative that you get the placement right. Just because you got a reticle doesn't mean you're going to start winning. You got to get those shots right. So let's try another one. We're going to go ahead and line up our shot. You can see the reticle floating around there. We don't care about that right now. Always line up your shot first. Once we're in place and we like where it's sitting, then we can move around our screen and get our reticle where we need it. You'll also notice this is a white width chart, not a yellow one. 3.6 is going to be in a much different place than it would be on that yellow chart. Feels good. We like that. We put our reticle right on 0. Bam. And then we pull it back to what? 3.6. Now, that reticle might be a bit large, but you can size it down as you see fit. And success. So what about shots that you need a little more power and you're just not quite getting there? Well, you can always use power balls, but if you can't get there, you got to add a little juice to it. And it takes a lot of practice to get this next shot to go off the way you want. All right, so as I'm setting up my shot, I already have the orange energy beam ball in use, and I'm getting it there, and I like where it's set up. So I put my reticle in there, but when I try to move it in, it's just not quite enough. I switch it up to the energy storm ball, and still not enough, but it's close enough for me to give it just a little bit of juice. And this is where only practice will give you what you need. You have to play a while to figure out what this distance needs to be when you're giving it juice. So this next shot is a perfect example of why it's imperative to know how to hit a debuff shot. Because sometimes you're going to be in a spot where you cannot shoot straight. As always, we set up our shot not paying attention to the reticle at all. It makes no difference. On this particular shot, we've got 12.6 wind force, so we move our shot chart accordingly. And once we get it there, we put our reticle on the 0 point and move it into the very center of the yellow debuff rectangle. Here's a quick example of one that went in, but it wasn't a great lineup. You'll see that I didn't get it into the center of the debuff rectangle, but it doesn't matter because the hole that we were shooting at was so large because we were so close. The wind is going in perfect direction forward from my location, so it really hardly was necessary. Now, as long as we're discussing debuff, there's something you need to be aware of is that you can kind of create your own debuff if you're not paying attention. By adding backspin to get height on this shot, this 0 point moved out of the 0 point hole. To correct that, we simply take our backspin back out to 0, and that puts us back on true 0 for the hole. And I didn't mention this, but I thought it was kind of obvious. When you're shooting at the hole, you actually never need your reticle. The hole is your reticle, I guess. Anyway, let's move on. I want to give you a quick tip about sighting in. I see a lot of people zooming in too soon, and so they end up doing this. That is a very hard way to target in on your reticle. Just the angle's all wrong. Instead, move directly over the top of your target and then zoom in, and you'll get a much better angle for targeting. I know it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but trust me, it'll help you a ton. So let's touch on the interface a little bit. First of all, if you've been playing this game for months or years as guest number 480-some thousand ridiculous number, you've already failed miserably. Why? Because of this little present box down here. Yeah, let's read what it says. Accept another gift from the same friend after 24 hours. Present stage 20, daily coins limit 19,000. Yeah, even if you're not getting 19,000, but an extra 10, 12,000 coins a day, I think it's worth it. I'll get to that in a second. If you don't want to link it to your Facebook page, I get it. I didn't either. So like millions of other people, I created a fake page just for Golf Rival and loaded it full of other Golf Rival players. It's super easy to do, and hey, you can throw a fun picture of, I don't know, Genghis Khan in there or something. Whatever. And why do we need all those coins every day? Well, mostly because of this page right here. Obviously, you need coins to upgrade your clubs, but these come in every single day. You can buy, literally, you can just buy the legendary clubs. And as I'm sure you figured out, coins are a lot easier to get your hands on than gems are. And while we're on this page, don't ever buy these. If you have gems, these are a complete waste. But remember to check this every day because you want to play as many tournaments as you can. First of all, there's no competition. You're playing against yourself, and if you play the level that you're good at, you can always make a lot of coins. As for the kingdom, it's a lot of fun, and you get a lot of good prizes. However, you got to use just a mountain of special balls, and the competition is fierce. Also, be aware of games on this page that you have to play to pay, gems. I don't know. I just think it's kind of a rip-off. Now, this chest right here is one of my favorite in the game. It's got a lot of great prizes, and they even get better as you go up in rank. You just want to make sure that you check it, because if you get too busy playing, it won't reset unless you empty it. So just make sure you check in on it and empty it, because you can do it twice a day. Also, you can go back through stages you've already played, and they will still count towards that chest. So, and you should definitely go back and play stages you've already played. Mostly for the practice. You need tons of practice, and when you're getting your ass kicked on the level you're on, sometimes it's nice to just go have some fun, and the practice is great, and watching others play will teach you. Just go back and do it. Trust me, it's a good thing. As you can see, I've got lots of clubs that need upgrading. I just don't want to spend my money on that. I'd rather buy legendary clubs. I don't play those other stupid games, but that's your call. Shards are great. Keep lots of those. Don't spend money on this kind of stupid crap. I mean, if you can earn it, that's great, but, spend your money, and by money I mean, gems and coins on balls and clubs. I mean, really, that's the extras. What a waste. So I'll finish up with the idea of the trick shot. Realistically, a quote-unquote trick shot is just bouncing a ball off a rock or a hard surface in this game. And you do that by moving your direction around until you find a yellow line that works for you. In this case, it's bouncing off that rock right there. And you move your reticle right onto 0 and pull it to the windage, 7.0, and hit it. It's nothing special. It's a little more precision because, you have an exact point on a rock that you need to hit. But it's just a regular shot for the most part. So that's going to do it for this video. In closing, I just want to remind everybody, it's just a game. Have fun with it. People are spending tens of thousands of dollars on this simply so that they can play someone who still has a bigger club than them and then get mad and abandon the game with 45 seconds. So, whatever. Don't be a dick. Sorry. Hey, I'll see you on the fairway. Thanks for watching. Later.